It's time once again for America's most exciting giveaway show. The show where knowledge means dollars. America's most popular quiz show, Break Your Brains. And here's America's most genial quizmaster, Mr. Jimmy Popular.
50 million Americans, thank you for letting us come into your living room so that we can break your brains. Tonight, we welcome back some of the last week's contestants. You're going to meet Ronald Gordon, our 8-year-old atomic scientist who's an expert on comic books. You're going to meet Mrs. Marjorie Barnes, our 93-year-old grandmother from St. Louis, Missouri, whose category is pole vaulting. And you'll meet Rudolph Schmidt, our baker from Wayzata, Minnesota, whose category is bakeries in Wayzata, Minnesota. And now our lovely hostess, Miss Penny Candy, will bring in tonight's first contestant, the man whose brain we've been trying to break for 25 consecutive weeks, the man whose category is anything. The man who tonight goes for $250,000, Mr. Harry Hempstead. Mr. Hempstead is a little nervous after 25 weeks on our show. So, Penny, will you escort Mr. Hempstead down the brain ramp? It's been a hard 25 weeks for Harry. Harry?
Jimmy, here again is Mr. Harry Hempstead.
Well, Harry, I bet you've been doing a lot of stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No more, please.
Now, please, Harry. Harry, you're going, remember, I bet you're very nervous after 25 weeks on Break Your Brains. Would you tell the audience some of the things that have been happening to you since the show began?
Well, ever since I've been winning all this money on the show, people have been so nice to me. I was interviewed on the radio. They have made an announcement about me in my hometown paper. And I've been beaten up once and robbed twice. The show has done a lot for me.
Harry, everybody in America... Watch it. Everybody in America knows what you do, Harry, but for the new listeners, would you tell them what you do for a living?
I'm a quiz master on another show. Back in my hometown, I run a little quiz show in the garage.
That's right, Harry. There are a lot of us these days. Well,
I've studied enough. I can't take it.
Please, Harry, please, Harry. Remember, you're going for $250,000. Now, Harry, remember, this comes time for the big decision. You can take this check for $250,000 and go home, or you can try to answer the next question and win this $250,000. Would you rather take it or win it?
I'll try to win it.
May sound foolhardy to a lot of people, but that shows a lot of courage on your part. Now, let's tell the folks at home how we play the game. Mr. Hempstead has reached the $250,000 precipice by answering correctly all of his questions. Now, Mr. Hempstead, you can go on to the next ravine by selling half your jackpot bank, and which you can ensure your entire winnings by investing your $250,000 in your children's college future. Or you can take $250,000 of matched luggage with your little name embossed on the emblems. Now, in which case, we'll give you 1 hard or 5 easy questions, which will entitle you to the jackpot prize. Therefore, you stand a chance, Harry Hempstead, of parlaying your $250,000 into $12.50 a week for the next full month. Harry, I know it's hard to figure, but if you answer every question correctly, you'll have a right to meet your contender who will challenge your right to take the prizes home. Is that clear, Mr. Hempstead? Is it clear, sir?
Yes, Jimmy, it's clear. And, Jimmy, may I say that you're a wonderfully fine person. And people ask me, is he really nice as he is? And I tell them, how else could he be if he weren't? You're nice.
Well, that's nice to hear, Harry, but I'm being what I am. I can't help it. A lot of nice people working on the show, plus the fact that I'm nice to begin with, makes this a very rewarding job, Harry.
You certainly are.
You too, Harry.
And the same to you.
And now we're ready to get on with the game. Now get set for part 2 of the rules, the outdoor event. As everyone knows, last week's loser is this week's outdoor event.
Check.
Right at this moment, Mr. William James Hewlett III, our Wall Street financier, who was our expert on social grace and etiquette, is walking around the streets of New York in his underwear. And right now, he's buying a ticket for a movie. Now, if any time during the time you're being questioned, he is thrown out of the movie or arrested, or anyone notices that he's wearing underwear, whichever comes first, you'll have to stop where you are and go for the bonus question. You'll lose everything you've learned thus far, plus you'll have to pay for Mr. Hewlett's fine, his court fees, and his lawyer fee. So let's cut to our outdoor event and see how he's coming. We take you to 42nd Street and Broadway. Well, you're lucky, Harry. They haven't spotted him yet. Now, Harry Hempstead, we're ready to break your brains. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Harry Hempstead, who has reached the first crevice on his climb to $250,000 ravine. Miss Penny, will you push the Selectatron buttontron? Professor White of Omega University. May we have the question, please? Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor White. Now, Harry, please, Professor White, please. Please, Professor White. Thank you. Now, Harry, your category is anything, and here is your first question. We are going to play an excerpt from an opera. We're going to ask you to name the excerpt. You have 15 seconds. All right, let's hear it, Bernie. Now, for $250,000, we are going to ask you to answer that question. You have 15 seconds, and take every minute of those 15 seconds. All right. Harry, what is the name of that aria? Please don't help him. Nobody help him. Please. Please don't help him. Harry, what is the name of that aria?
Caranomi?
Right, Caranomi is right. All right, Harry, you've answered part one, and now for the second part of your last-ditch question. You must answer this for the $250,000. From what opera is Caranomi taken? Name the 5 leading tenors who sang the leading role before 1930. Name the opera companies which these tenors sang. In which cities these opera companies are located. And at least 4 out of 5 leading ladies who sang the leading roles opposite the leading tenors. Name the composer of the work of at least 5 unpublished operas of his. Then name his wife and the first names of his children. You have 15 seconds to give me your answer. Take every minute of those 15 seconds, Harry. $250,000. What is your answer?
First answer is, the aria comes from Rigoletto. It was first sung by Enrico Caruso, then sung by Benigno Gelilio. Then it's sung by Genigio Bellini, Caruso, Calacastro, Salavani, Nicoloso Perino, and then Gian Piers. Quirino Zamora, Carolo Balsinio, Tony Galento, Dame Dinesio. It was first played at the Metropolitan Opera Company, the Los Scala de San Carlos, Sal Magli, the Sal Magli Live Opera, the Chicago Live Opera Company, the Detroit Heavy Opera Company, the St. Louis Municipal Opera Company, the St. Paul Muni Opera Company, the Rome Opera Company, the Napa Opera Company. It was first played in 1801, 1802, 1803, with Red Period in 1955, 1836, 1944. No, not 1995. 1936, 1904, 1945. Then it was first sung. The leading ladies were Luisa Teresa, Amelia Gluck, Maria Angela, Dolores Del Rio, Morris Lawyer, Bess Meyerson, and no, not Bess Meyerson. It was was written by Verdi. It's unpublished twice, so I'll go in the more Nina Tenina, the printer, the Santa Maria, the Questa la Fora, the Reno, con Conte la Canto, lo Wendel, Giussi, la Tanto, lo Secondo, le Celli, lo Wendel la Gato, le Samba, lo Solondo, lo Solando, lo Cavento, la Peccia, la Gato, e porto non dire niente, solo con lo andando, ce lo vado a risilato, lo colando, e porto di leggere con Tondina Santa, and the girl from the Golden West.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. Every answer was wrong. Not one. But in answering your question, you used 250 seconds at $1,000 a second, which brings you to a grand total of $250,000. Here, Harry, is your $250,000. $50,000.
In cash, like that?
Well, Harry, you can take that money home with you now, or go on to your next cliff and meet your contender, who can take it all away from you.
I'll go on.
Remember, Harry, you can't win any more money. You can just lose what you have.
I'll go on.
Harry, you're a grand sport. And I want you to meet your contender, our charming housewife, Mrs. Blanche Stanley. Mrs. Stanley, how many weeks have you been on Break Your Brains?
103 weeks.
Has it been that long?
Oh, yes. I was here before you were.
Oh, that's right. You were on when I came on. Well,
Yes,
how much money have you won on this quiz show?
On this show?
Yes.
Well, on this show, I'd say it was about $1 million.
$1 million. Do you find that all this money has changed you at all?
Oh, no. Good heavens to Betsy, no. No, we haven't changed in the least little bit. We're exactly the same. Of course, our friends seem a little poorer and a little duller, but we haven't changed.
Well, that's wonderful to hear that, Mrs. Stanley.
Yes.
It's time to play the game, and I want you to meet your contender, Harry Hempstead.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Hempstead?
I hope you'll lose.
Thank you very much.
That's the spirit. And now we're ready for the big payoff question, the question that's worth $500,000 on Break Your Brains. Penny and Professor White, will you show the contestants to the humiliation booths? Separate booths, please. Can you hear me in there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, Harry, you're not allowed to take an expert in with you this time. Sorry, Harry. Thank you, Professor White. Thank you very much. Sound on.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
How about you, Mr. Hempstead? Can you hear me? Is the sound on, Mr. Hempstead? Is the sound on? The sound is on. The air is off. The air is off. Will you put the air to Mr. Hempstead's booth? Pump the air to the booth, please. Thank you. We want to give them both equal opportunities. Now, Mrs. Stanley, here's the big question. We've turned the sound off of Mr. Hempstead's booth, so he can't hear. Are you ready?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, for $500,000, will you name the capitals of the following 8 countries? Abyssinia, Uruguay, Bolivia, Paraguay, New Zealand, Newfoundland, Belgium, and Pakistan. You have 15 seconds to think of your answer and take every minute of those seconds. $500,000, the name of the capital of the countries of Abyssinia.
The capital of Abyssinia. Could we skip that one and go on to the next one, please?
Certainly, the capital of Uruguay.
The capital, could we go back to Abyssinia?
All right, the capital of Abyssinia.
I think I'll try Belgium.
All right, how about Belgium?
Belgium.
Oh, you know it, Mrs. Stanley.
I do?
Oh, of course you do.
Well, then good. Let's skip that one and go on to the next one.
All right, the capital of Pakistan.
The capital, could we try Belgium again?
Sorry, Mrs. Stanley, but your time is up. We have busted your brain, so will you please get off the stage? Get off the stage. Thank you, Mrs. Stanley. Ladies and gentlemen, before we turn the sound on in Mr. Hempstead's booth, we have a surprise for him. From Durango, California, we have flown his father in, who he hasn't seen in 30 years. Now, if he answers the question correctly, his father will have a wonderful reunion and a joyous reunion. However, if he misses the question, we'll put his father back on the plane, and he will never see him again. Aren't we having fun, America? All right. Mr. Hempstead, put the sound back in, Mr. Hempstead. The air, put the air back in. Mr. Hempstead, Here is your question. Here is your question for the grand prize. Will you bring in the paintings, please? Mr. Hempstead, we have here 10 works of art. 5 of these works of art are the originals. And 5 of these works of art, are copies. They are forged copies. Will you take these with you, Mr. Hempstead? Mr. Hempstead, there you are. Your question is to determine, Mr. Hempstead, the originals and determine the name of the painter, the names of the painter, and the name of the painting. You have 15 seconds to determine it. All right, Mr. Hempstead, what is painting number 1?
Yes, I have the painting number 1. This is by Van Borns. It's called La Raison de la Paramount, which in English means sneaking into the Paramount.
That's right. Now, Mr. Hempstead, we've got to go fast. Got 15 seconds. Painting number 2.
Yes, this is the original. It says it's either a Mole or a Fregdigliani. I think it's a Modigliani, and it's called Passive Coconuts in the Breeze.
Passive Coconuts in the Breeze is right. Number 3.
Yes. Here is the 3rd original. It's called The Drowning Swan, and it's by Roald Pestilence.
It is The Drowning Swan by Roald Pestilence.
And it's by his adopted son.
Right, that's absolutely right. Number 4.
And this is The Cavalry Charge by Sir William S. Retreat.
That's absolutely correct.
That's right.
Now, the number 5 painting.
Number 5 painting. This is, I know this one. It's a Van Dyke. It's Van Dyke's immortal still life called Soup and Greens.
Soup and Greens is right! You have won, Mr. Hempstead! Larry Hempstead, you've won the $500,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you'll be back with us next week for the $1 million question.
No, I won't be able to be back with you next week because I'm on a different quiz show called Beat Your Wife.
Oh, yes, of course. You're on Beat Your Wife, the quiz show whose losers become our contenders, who meet the contestants to challenge the contestants of the winners who become our losers.
That's right.
Well, good luck, Harry, and I hope that you beat your wife.
Don't worry, I'll beat her brains out.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for the next 5 quiz shows, which follow on this station immediately. Well, good night, and break your brains, ladies and gentlemen.